Okay, so we're seeing a repeat of Sidewinder, and Zero is on the same side of the map as he was last time. And ooh, he's going for a different opening this time.
I really don't like this from Zero. I'm not sure. So one thing about Shu is Shu has publicly stated that they don't like to play with Tenri in the game because it can take advantage of like certain assassination plays, lethal plays that can sort of bypass Shu's usual defensive armor. But now we see Shu playing Tenri, a commander that they don't usually like. This can only mean that Shu is planning on some kind of dastardly kill. Maybe last game made them think, oh, does Zeronix not save themselves from lethals? Are they vulnerable to that? If I pick an assassin commander, will I have better luck? Can I outduel Zeronix in that way? Another really crazy thing is that this map is, I think, STA? But Valder does have a way of changing that on maps, especially if one player is not Valder. You can do different openings and change the capture phase of the map. So if Zero has a very proper Valder opening, then you can actually get an early lead that can just violate FTA or STA completely. But the only advantage you really get P1 on this map is most of your army will be in one spot, exactly where it was last time, kind of clustered around the mid-left area, and your commander will get first groove. But you can fall down on economy unless you're very, very aggressive and hold villages. So it's really interesting to see what Zero can do with Valder here.
I think what he's doing is this opening allows for him to get the thief first, because you know, it always puts you at a nice advantage. And because he's playing Valder, ooh, I'm not sure about that back capture. I think he could have gone for the forward capture instead. But
well, the back capture gives him the ability to then forward capture and heal same turn next turn, though it will delay the village's health a little bit. So it's better for moving the sword forward faster. It's worse for Valder's health bar. I didn't see Shu's full opening on their previous game. I've got to go back and watch that. I just saw from the mid game. But it looks to me like Shu is being much more aggressive on the right this side. We see that knight coming out. We see the mage taking that village. I think Shu's realizing that last game they let Zero push too much on the left. And they're going to try for a very aggressive play on the right. To sort of give their commander groove, take away any groove edge P1 could have, take away the stronghold pressure, and then use the second player positioning to just run up on econ. But I don't know what Valder does to that plan. So this is going to be definitely a battle of whose master plan is better.
the Shu delayed capturing on the left actually last game and went more of a center route. So there was some aggression on the right, but it was not anything particularly noteworthy. It was just like they went knights, and both players, you know, were doing the trading villages on the sides with like. But Zeronix, this game, his thief is so far ahead actually. It's almost about to return, and Shu has only just built his, so this opening allows for that kind of like bigger economy lead. And I love that Zero went for this deny on the village, so Tenri has to walk back if she wants to heal. And ooh, that's interesting. Doesn't go for the capture.
It's something to be noted that Valder does have some very interesting rushes on this map as P1. There's a build skip, I think, Foglord did in a random casual match against Shu. It wouldn't work at this level of play where everyone is looking for it, but it is a really neat trick where you can just build an early knight, skip some builds, and take out the HQ with Valder. There are also a few other tricks you can do involving the knight as P1. Whereas P2 can't really do an early stronghold rushdown, they have much better defense of the corner villages. As you can see now, Shu getting an earlier secure there. But Shu doesn't really have enough economy right now for their dragon. Might take them a turn. So as long as Zero can keep the villages pretty even and push forward, he'll be able to prevent Shu from gaining an edge. Although that balloon play might negate a next turn dragon, even with Thief Deposit.
Well, the Thief isn't going to reach there in time. He's so far behind on that.
You're right.
That's the advantage of going for this. So this strategy, I think, only really works with Valdor, because otherwise it takes far too long to get to the center with anything. Whereas, yeah, you just go for that really early hideout capture. Get your Thief, like, well ahead of time.
Did Zero not do that in the previous game?
No, he went for a more standard opening of just pushing the commander center. So this is a very different approach to this game.
Now we're seeing the common trade situation in the bottom right. You've got a knight and a mage against some swords. Is Zero going to pull for the harpy here?
He did in the previous game, so I don't see why he wouldn't do it again.
A harpy is a really good unit on this map for all of 4 turns.
Ooh.
Once your opponent fills it with
Okay then.
double build skip for a dragon.
It threatens a lot. Oh, actually, this is brilliant because now Tenri cannot hit the village. And there's no real, aside from this mage, there's no anti-air on this map. Zero's going for a very daring, and I guess this makes sense because Valdor's one of the few commanders who can do this. Like, you skip builds because you're gonna build an army out of your commander. And in this circumstance, it's gonna allow him to get a big economy lead because Tenri can't contest that village at all. She will die.
I'm seriously amazed by how well Zeronix is playing this. It is normally very, very difficult for P1 to secure a village just neutrality at this point in the game, but Zero's got a straight up lead. The extra swords from Valdor definitely help, but also just the brilliance of the position of each sword. Blocking off the knight, threatening every unit, making sure the swords are changed so the mage can't just walk up and smack something. What?
Okay, I mean, Tenri's gonna eat a crit. I guess the really important thing to note here, though, is that she's gonna eat a dragon crit for free. Like, nothing can cover this. But I guess, like, Yu's just okay with that?
Well, it's not completely free. Tenri is worth, as a commander, 500 gold. Let's say this does 450. 450 worth of gold at most. If she has a place to heal, which she will have a 6th village, although that's not a full heal, she can recover that, and meanwhile the dragon can't go after the knight. There's nothing that can really duel the mage. This will let Shu secure that village because it can't really be taken back. At best, the pike could smack it, but then make itself vulnerable to the mage. So Zeronix would have to build more things here. And because they skipped a build, there's nothing to cover the pike. So what this really does is it's a play trading pressure in different areas of the map. Shu is willing to have their commander forced off the center, but as a consequence, they can hold this corner village a little bit longer and protect their knight on this attack.
And I'm just thinking about this for a moment. There's no way you do anything other than hit Tenri at this circumstance. Like, the damage and the pressure is just too good.
I don't think a dragon can execute a knight on planes. Yeah, can't. Although the knight is at... So if with sword suicide, the dragon might be able to kill this knight on the plains. And then a sword could run into the mountain mage, murder itself, but prevent a huge counterattack on the dragon. Ultimately, though,
like,
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, especially given that he just skipped 2 unit builds. So yeah, you just go for Tenri, and they're like Tenri's on 10%. Okay, so I guess like what's the rest of the follow-up here? Just gonna go for the capture on that village? I mean, yeah, like you're gonna force a knight or a mage to do their full attack's worth to kill a little tiny sword.
I wonder if you need the harpy here.
Oh, and this is interesting actually. Zero can just put on a ton of counter pressure. And there's not much defending this headquarters, and yeah, he builds the harpy just for defense on that bottom right corner like you were saying. And this might be a very, very short game 4. And he even has this thief to come in as well. So he's gonna get a thief still. Shu hasn't even turned in gold, like he's doing that this turn. And Zero's already got his thief moving in for the next steal.
Yeah, there's a reason Valder is considered one of the better commanders, and Tenri just isn't. Valder can end the game before Tenri gets groove.
I guess that's Volder's thing against any slow charger, right? Is that he wants to build up that lead and snowball before the opponent can really do anything with their advantage and their groove. Tenri is, you know, very strong in their own right, but yeah, this is optimal Valder. Valder is doing everything he wants to do. He built groove very quickly by getting a free hit on a village. And then after that point, he just kind of shoved forward. He got a kill on a unit. So he's got his second groove up. We're only on turn 7, by the way. And we already have Zero just barreling down on this stronghold. You had to build a golem to defend it.
And a golem is a very good choice for defense. It is difficult to kill a golem when your golem is surrounded by other units, and a defensive golem always is. You can't really trade efficiently into it without a commander, a golem of your own, or a dragon that will just get torn apart by the mages defending the golem. On top of that, a golem is great against Valder because swords just can't touch it, and you want to have some nice chunky units to protect your squishy mages and your archers so that Valder can't snipe them. You're just throwing away swords now. Those swords will die. But the stronghold might live another couple of turns.
Maybe, but his commander is very much in lethal right now. He needs to throw a mage heal. Like, Tenri's dead if he doesn't.
Can 2 swords kill a dog?
I believe they can.
I don't know. On planes?
50. Ooh, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's safe. Because a max roll from both swords, that's 110.
Oh,
Although,
you are correct. That is absolutely terrifying, though.
yeah. You have to be very, very good at the numbers to understand why that's safe. And even then, you might miss something. Like, I wouldn't do that. I would throw down the mage heal even if numerically it's fine, just because it looks so scary.
Alright, he's gonna throw the mage heal down on these units, make them a bit chunkier. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I agree. She was not one to panic. She was like, my commander's at low health. I don't care. I'm gonna heal it on that 9 health village in a turn. It'll be fine.
Ooh, that mage is very vulnerable though. Just walking it straight into a sword. I guess like the play he's going for is that the sword runs in, hits the mage, and then Tenri finishes off the sword, but if you're Zero, and look at the clock, like he's only spent 6.5 minutes on his turn so far. I honestly think he could just walk back at this point.
I think one of the biggest differences here is Zero came with a plan. I don't feel like Zero had a plan the past 3 games. I feel like Zero was very surprised game 1. Kind of, you know, just did their thing game 2. Game 3, they tried to do their thing, but just time pressure and getting a little bit overeager, and their one flaw in how they played just came to bite them. And now they were like, all right, I'm going to surprise Shu with my crazy P1 Valder strategy. And Shu's like, okay, lol, I'll play Tenri. Tenri's strong, right? I don't like Tenri. Tenri's strong. But maybe Shu doesn't have that much experience playing Tenri because Shu bans Tenri all the time and isn't familiar with the early game and what you have to do. Like, for example, allowing the dragon hit on Tenri is such a big deal just because you can't build Groove anymore. It wasn't worth that one village to let that happen. If Zero's taking this much time to think... Oh, here we go.
Ooh, he's gonna be aggressive.
To kind of quote Zero on how Zero should play this, Zero has to do as much damage as possible without allowing their units to be counterattacked. If that pike can be cleared safely, the knight can hit the mage because the giant can't really get there. On the other hand, anything next to that dog below the 9 village can be hit. And of course, Valder has to be safe at all times.
Right. Oh well, sword crits will kill that pike, so he's gonna smack that mage in the face.
Very safe.
And I guess, is he gonna use the dragon aggressively? Like he could melt one of those swords, and there's nothing that can punish him for it. Like I guess he'll eat a very weak mage crit back from it, but
There's mage heal on the mage to bring it up to 4, and that would be heavy against the dragon, but ultimately it would cost so much to do that.
I think he's gonna go for the play I was saying earlier. He's just gonna kill the mage in the bottom right.
Yep.
And brings the heart. Oh,
Very,
so now
very safe.
the harpy and the dragon are now gonna be able to be used aggressively here.
This looks very good for Zero. This is such a clean game.
There's not much you can do back because he's got. I mean, the sword and the dog and the golem. Like they could do some damage in return, but feel like there's enough of a meat grinder here to make it perfectly okay for him. And Tenri is still really low on health, so how she plays the next turn is going to be pretty significant, because the dragon can just go up and roast her.
And at 40%, Tenri would have slightly better than a coin flip odds of living that. But that is not a risk you want to take. Also, did we mention how trapped that knight is?
It's very trapped. Okay, she is running his commander forward, gets a heal. I think Zero, you pull back from the headquarters at this point, or the stronghold. I keep calling it headquarters.
Like, where does it go? Its furthest escape tiles are on road. It's dead if it does that, unless like just Shu builds a back mage right there.
You could
Put
build
it
a
on the
back mage.
plains.
He does, yeah, I think he might, because he has the gold for it.
And there it is. And now 3 units are dedicated to trying to not let the knight die, while the headquarters on the other side of the map is under attack. Like, that dragon positioning was so well done. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like Zero just woke up and decided, okay, Shu, it's my turn.
Well, I feel like it's more like he woke up and was like, okay, enough messing around. Like, I had a couple of losses that were games I could have won. I'm just gonna absolutely smash him this game.
Even so, Sidewinder is a defensive map. And Zero's econ advantage right now is in the center, which can flip. So it's not over yet. There's still plenty of time for a commander to walk into an enemy army. There's still plenty of time for Shu to push back out. But now Zeronix has an income lead. And the legend is, once Zeronix has an income lead, they win the game. Let's see if Zeronix can snowball this safely.
I think he will. Ooh, really nice positioning on the pikes here. And yeah, I think he might even sacrifice health on this harpy just to flip another village quickly. Or potentially sacrifice health.
Going to go for the...
Ooh, actually, how much damage do you do to a village? 70. So there's a 67% village over here. I think the dragon could quite easily flip that. If it hits from the mountain, the sword can capture as well and be completely safe.
You're right.
And then, like, looking at how many mages are on the map, I think you build a golem from the left barracks, have your thief go for the capture from the mountain tile, pull the army to your, like, Zero just pulls back to the left, and, like, left center, and then make sure that he isn't going to lose anything. So yeah, he's going to go for the steal, really just smashing Shu's economy. Shu is down. She's going to have 630 gold at the start of his turn. And that's if Zero doesn't go for this decap.
This is what a good Valder player can do. You can completely change the early game of a map just by playing Valder. And playing really, really, really well.
Oh, he's gonna go for a more aggressive decap. I guess, like, there is a chance that the dragon fails to capture that village. And oh, he has 1,300 gold, almost exactly. I wonder if we're gonna see Golem Sword. No, he gets an archer. And a mage. And mages make sense because they allow you to do things like slam your commander into the golem and heal it. Oh, Sue has no money.
It's 1,400 to 800. And I think another really good reason for moving the air units to that kind of center top village instead of going for the village on the right is that now that knight can do nothing. If it goes in on those weak swords, it'll die to pikes. Terrible trade. It can't really press to the left or it'll get eaten by air unless you put some support there. And if you put some support there, then they're not pushing to the left, they're not reclaiming anything. But they've got to support that giant. And notice the knight crit is set up perfectly on the mountain tile, as if Zero was like, I know you're going to put that giant on the mountain tile. I want to crit it. Just in case. It also happens to be just the maximum range from the barracks, so that could also be it. Might have nothing to do with it.
I mean, his other knight is also lined up for a crit on the stronghold too. So, oh, actually no, Shu has to defend it because there is lethal threat on the stronghold.
I don't think there is because knight crit plus dragon isn't enough.
I think if you high roll him it is, but it's the threat as opposed to like it being guaranteed. And just that pressure alone
Dragon
forces
is
you
like
to
37. Or is it like 56 plus 36? 37.
Yeah, so like double high roll will do it. But it's still it's pressure, and that's like the thing that Zero is going for right now, is he's just putting a lot of pressure on. I just realized the barracks on the right hand side is on a road.
Oh yeah. It's dragon snipeable. Like a dragon can one-shot that barracks.
And I love that positioning with the swords on the right hand side. These swords are getting so much value. And you'll absolutely sacrifice their health. Go for something. Zero has 1,800 gold at the start of his turn.
Yeah, this is borderline ridiculous. This isn't even a Valder play. This is a Valder play with Galaxy Brain. I don't know how else to put it. Like, if you're doing Valder correctly, you should be up maybe 200, 300 gold. This is just... This is incredible.
Yeah, this is
And what's
snowball.
really awesome is Zero won every front. They won the center, they won the left, and they won the right. They won everything. From P1 on Sidewinder. I guess another important thing to point out is that Tenri has done nothing all game. She's just been completely useless. She hasn't gotten to attack anything. She hasn't gotten to threaten anything. That double racks miss dragon build drove her off center. The Valder swords let Zero get away with that. And Zero's brilliant positioning allowed them to win fronts even with the builds missing. The whole thing was just incredible to watch.
And I love that he's not attacking the golem. Just because, like, golem on a mountain is, like, so tanky. Even you throw a night crit at it, and it not good. No, it's not even really going to do much. talking average 45. It would do, what, like 25 damage? Something around that? 25 to 30, and then you're taking a full golem hit back, so... He's just gonna put his knight on the road as bait.
The giant can hit it from the bottom. But that's far enough away from Shu's army that it could go down and there would be a mage crit on it. And mage crits are one of the very few efficient ways to trade into a golem.
And yeah, it would be dragon hit and then mage crit after that.
So it's dead no matter how it attacks that knight.
And Zero, he's just gonna continue walking this thief back to safety. Alright, he's gonna hit it. Ooh, mage crit on Alder. And he does get some follow-up pressure, so Tenry's gonna have Groove next turn.
This is a bit of a desperation play from Shu. I think some army is going to get thrown away here, but ultimately it allows Shu to have a potential lethal on Zeronix, and that's what Shu is playing for. I'm not going to win this game. I got outplayed. Maybe I can still go for the lethal.
That did work for him before, so...
It did.
But I think he needs to just bring... Yeah, he needs to bring everything forwards, because... Tenry, I mean, she isn't now, but she was under pressure, like lethal pressure.
Yeah, you have to consider that while Zero is heavily up on units, most of those units are not where the fight is right now. The Harpy can, at best, hurt a sword and then die. You have 2 weakened swords and 2 pikes that are kind of stuck in this bottom right. The balloon with the archers still hasn't arrived. The witch hasn't arrived. That won't get there for another turn. And the witch is hex only. It can't actually kill anything. That dog isn't going to get to the fight right now. So this is Shu's time to attack. I think Shu did a good job of identifying that and realizing that if they were going to push out, it has to be now. They have to make a move before Zero can kind of dig in on all this territory they took with Valder.
Here's Zero. I think you just walk back, you heal.
Uh-oh. That wasn't the tile.
Yeah, it's a little awkward because now there's a mage that can hit the dragon. You will have to do something to kill that mage. Look at those archers.
That's a beautiful position right there. Oh.
Is that guaranteed? 80, yeah it was. Yeah, Zero's just kind of raining damage down on his opponent. He even has like a witch in a really nice position. Yeah, I don't know what Shu can do from this point. He's lost a lot of his army again. He lost his golem. That's his big power unit. I mean, I guess you could groove the dragon out.
That's no problem. Zero built another one.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Now, grooving the dragon is the last thing you want to do. Really, what you want with Tenry here is a game ender. but there isn't one, and I don't think Zero is going to expose one.
Yeah, I actually think you could just continually walk Volder backwards and just summon swords.
You could.
And that will be like Volder for the rest of this match. I mean, oh, he even has a village to heal from, so he's actually pretty okay overall. Even if a big amount of damage came down this turn, I think, yeah, he's completely fine. Yeah, there's like archers with crit on tiles there, so he can't even block that path to it. I don't even know how he would, like he just doesn't have the range this turn to do that.
And this is one of the reasons that Valder isn't just one of the better commanders. Valder is a counter to a lot of the better commanders. I think Valder plays nicely even into Caesar, because you can use those extra swords to soak up what could otherwise be a lethal, what could otherwise be a groove hit. Even right now, we see that Zero is building more swords, because all of the swords have been dying after successfully damaging things and being used as body blockers and bait, letting Zero's real army, the knights, the dogs, the dragons, the mages, stay very, very healthy. So now Zero has this amazing army that is practically untouched. There's like a scratch on one of those knights. The one that got stumped by a giant. Okay, that took damage, but everything else, pretty pristine. It's just been the swords taking damage all game. And sure, you've got Tenri Group, but what are you going to do with it? Killing a dragon isn't worth all the economy you've lost all this time, all the units you haven't killed because there were swords in the way, all the things the swords killed. Assassinating a dragon isn't worth it. If you want to do Tenri into Valder, you have to at least keep it somewhere near even. This is a situation where you'd need like a comeback groove like Ragna to even have a hope of breaking out of here.
Just as a little thought experiment, like you were mentioning Ragnar, I was like, how much damage would a Ragnar Groove do here? It's actually pretty decent. But even then, I think a Ragnar Groove just jumping in wouldn't even be enough.
Probably not. Shu's army is not in position to attack more than a 4-sword and a couple of dogs. And Shu's army is all mages, but Zero finally went knight heavy this game, which is something they haven't been doing enough in their matches. We haven't seen enough knights come out of Zeronix, but now we're seeing the knights. And those knights are going to do really, really well against mage spam, especially now that Shu's mages have to leave that super turtley area that Shu loves to put mages. We all love to put mages. This is Sidewinder. You fill the mountains and forests full of mages, but when they have to leave their home, they're kind of in trouble if there are a bunch of knights running around. I feel like we could make like a Wargroove storybook for kids, like, and then the mages leave their home in the forest.
Alright, she's gonna push towards the stronghold. Oh, he's gonna hit that dragon pretty hard. I guess. Ooh, he's just putting counter pressure on.
But he's still in range of that other dragon and on road.
Yeah,
there's
he
a
is.
witch. Forget the witch, there's a knight crit. And you could heal that one knight up to 50.
Oh, well. Just gonna create more of a wall in front. And... oh, it doesn't pick off the harpy. Okay.
It was still a really good attack. She realized, I have an army of mages, I should fight the air units. Let me put pressure on the stronghold, go for something here. I can't get a kill with Tenri Groove, it's not going to happen. I'll damage a dragon and push forward, because Zero abandoned their HQ. That is the only place they are not. They're on the right, they're on the left, they're creeping up that center aisle, but they are not at their own HQ. I'm going to rush that. I'm going to threaten Night Crit on it, and Shu is threatening Night Crit on it. I'm going to do everything I can to scare the bejeebers out of that HQ and force Zero to come to me.
Actually, here's like this tiny little optimization Zero could potentially have made is if this sword was on the mountain, next to the barracks even. Like if that sword was next to them on the mountain, it could have attacked the mage in the south.
This is true.
Because that
And it
mage
still
is
would have been
threatening.
able to.
Yeah, the mage is threatening crit on the stronghold right now. Ooh, big hex is gonna come down. And these archers are gonna put in their work right now. They're gonna do as much damage as they can.
Yeah, even with an army of mages, if Shu can pick off one and if Zero can pick off one and Zero did, you still need to use 2 of them to kill the witch and the balloon to get through. Then there's the harpy. Then you could use the dragon. Like, Zero could just put up an air wall here, have something to deal with the mage, and then nothing can touch the stronghold this turn.
Yeah, like you can put the balloon in place, you can put the dragon in place as well. I think you can finish off this other mage.
Oh, definitely. We could see Valder Sword, we could see
Oh,
Knight
right.
Ram into it.
I had actually forgotten Valder had a sword available, so yeah, that is a pretty huge difference maker.
And that poor thief still running back. It is hard to deposit a second time on this map.
Yeah, you really need a balloon to do it.
Zero's a gajillion gold up, and their thief is still not gonna make it.
Oh, just go straight for Tenry.
I just hope Zero doesn't forget about the stronghold. Because it can die still. That is still on the table.
Right, yep. He puts the units where they need to be. I think you just... well, that wasn't what I was thinking. But, oh, I guess he could put the harpy on the forest? No, he's gonna put it there.
Yeah, I think that's fine. The knight's blocked. There's no way around it.
And I guess the sword heals off the tower, right? Like the 2 health sword.
Zero just knight crit Shu's tower.
Yeah.
I don't know if now is the right time to be flexing, but...
And yeah, he's just gonna walk the rest of his army back. Heals where he can. Might see like a mage come out. Okay, I was thinking archer, but I always think archer, so that's just me.
No, an
Both of
archer
them.
would have been better there. Because mages actually don't hurt mages much, but it doesn't matter. A 9 health mage cannot kill a stronghold by itself. It will die in the attempt.
Oh, and she was just like, nope, I can't win this.
Yeah.
Valiant attempt at the counter pressure though.
Yeah, Shu went down swinging with like a plan that was the best thing they could have done in the situation.
And after we're now in 3 days, after 2 days of matches and now we're on the 3rd day, we're going into a game 5. Shu versus Zeronix.
Oh, that was amazing.
Especially because you can have your confidence shattered if you play out a really good game on a map and then lose. But Zero playing so well in this circumstance where he is like, we're going to go to the same map, you're going to choose player 2 again because you think that's the better position, and I'm just going to destroy you. And that was...
Even after watching that, I still think it's the better position. Just Zero is amazing.
Okay. But Zero is just like, we're going to go back here. I know I can beat you on this map, so let me prove it. And that's what he does. He just walks up, plays Valder. Like, that was the most dominant game I've seen between like 2 top players in a long time. Zero just really... It didn't seem like he was losing at any point. Like, it seemed like... he legitimately, like, maybe there was a bit where it was kind of even, but after, like, once he got to like turn 6 or 7, from that point onwards, the game was completely in Zero's hands. So, well played.